So, hello everybody. My name is John Doherty. I'm a mindfulness mysticism teacher and teacher trainer. And today I'd like to introduce the whole area of mindfulness practice. So, mindfulness has become a very popular word these days. And, what does it actually mean? So we're going to explore that in our short video today. I remember years ago, I was watching a rugby match with some friends, and they were all lawyers and teachers. And one of them said, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said, "I'm a mindfulness teacher." And he said, "What?" A big pint of Guinness in his hand. He said, "I know what mindlessness is, but I don't know what mindfulness is." So I guess that's a good starting point, isn't it? Mindlessness. And in many ways, we spend our lives on automatic pilot, either through habit or routine, going about the busyness of our days. And we aren't necessarily connected or present in what we're doing. So mindfulness practice is very much about present moment awareness, about coming into the present moment in whatever I'm doing and being fully aware and embodied in that moment. So I remember years ago, one of my own teachers said to me, "John, you need to stop trying to escape from reality and escape into reality." And that really struck me as a strange thing to say. I guess I had been spending a lot of time trying to escape from reality in lots of different ways, as we all can do. But to escape into reality really caught my interest. What does that mean? So the present moment is where we escape into, if you like. It's the only moment we have. And it's a very rich place to be. But for so many of us, we're not fully here. So we live in this cloud of consciousness, of awareness, of thoughts, of feelings, the story about ourselves that's in our mind, that's going on all the time. And sometimes it brings us back into the past. Other times it projects us into the future with worries and concerns and all sorts of things. And oftentimes we're lost in our imagination or in our fantasy world. There can be a whole range of distracting things in our cloud of consciousness, let's call it that. But if we live in that cloud, oftentimes it's not a very fulfilling place to live. Again, because we can become attached to the worries of the future. We can become sucked back into the problems in our past. We can be distracted by the fantasy of our imagination rather than living in the present moment. So what mindfulness really invites us to do is to come out of the cloud, more or less, and to really escape into the present, So we anchor our consciousness and all its different parts, we anchor it in the present moment. And that idea of anchoring is really important in mindfulness, because what we're doing is we're creating a sense of stability for our thoughts, stability for our emotions, for our physical body, for our energy. So that no matter what is going on in our story about our lives, in the cloud of our story and all around us, we remain solid and resilient within that. So that's one of the great gifts of mindfulness practice, is this idea of being able to anchor our thinking mind, our feeling heart, our body, our doing body. We're able to anchor it into something real and something resilient that keeps us sane, I guess, in many ways, and gives us the confidence to open up to feeling, gives us the confidence to not be afraid of life. It gives us the confidence to open up to deeper and richer experiences and new experiences without the fear of being overwhelmed, without the fear of being smothered, without the fear of even, considering positive or negative thinking. Because we have we can develop such a strength in our practice that really helps to contain us and hold us in a field of presence. And I'll even use the word in a field of love, which is the ground of our being. So present moment attention is what mindfulness is really about, the development and the practice of mindfulness. And, again, it's a practice. So it's something that we do. Obviously, we can do mindfulness meditation sitting on the chair. We can do walking meditation practice. And in our everyday life, we can practice being mindful in how we live our lives. So instead of going through my everyday routine like a zombie or a robot on automatic pilot, I actually bring the practice into what I'm doing. So I bring awareness to what I'm doing, and in doing that, it brings me into the present moment. And interestingly enough, the present moment contains an incredible richness, everything we need in terms of fulfillment, of well-being, of feeling, of everything, solutions for the mind. Everything is contained in the present moment. But for most of us, we are so conditioned not to be here to some degree that we don't experience that richness. So people, students and friends of mine and clients often say, John, I feel like there's something missing in my life, but I'm not sure what that is. I'm not just, I'm not fully fulfilled, or, and obviously our culture is designed and our society that, if you consume and if you attain all sorts of things outside of yourself, that will fulfill you, that will fill the missing hole that we seem to have in ourselves. And unfortunately, that's just a capitalist lie. It doesn't work. There's a certain amount of satisfaction, obviously, in achieving things and attaining things, but it's not long-term happiness by any means. So then the invitation in mindfulness is to go inwards. If the outer doesn't fulfill what we're looking for, then we go inwards. And this is really where the richness lives. So mindfulness offers us a door to begin the inner journey to self-discovery and to self-awareness and ultimately to self-love and acceptance. And in that self-love and acceptance, everything that we had been looking for outside of ourselves becomes available to us. There's a tremendous sense of peace. There's a tremendous sense of love as a felt experience, not because of other people in our lives, but within us. There's a tremendous sense of love and well-being and peacefulness. And all of this arises when we open that door, that inner door that mindfulness offers. So I hope today has been a useful introduction into mindfulness practice. Sometimes, we call it double attention, the practice of mindfulness. There's a new term, perhaps, double attention. So as I'm speaking to you now, I'm paying attention to you and to what we're talking about. But at the same time, I'm also listening in to myself. I'm observing myself, what's sort of going on in my thinking mind, what's going on in my feeling heart, what's going on in my gut, in my doing gut. And at a deeper level, because I'm a mindfulness mysticism teacher, if you like, at a deeper level, I also listen into what's going on in the spirit, the energy around me, the bigger energy within me and around me. So I'm discerning and listening to that too. So we learn this quality of double attention. So in many ways, the first step in mindfulness is to be able to practice bringing ourselves fully into the present moment, to find an anchor point to work with, so that every time my thoughts and emotions and experiences pull me away, I can come back to that anchor point. And that is a more formal practice in mindfulness until I become strong enough. In the East, they used to call it taming the mind. So we would have to, like a wild animal, we would have to tame the mind, that every time it takes me away, no, come back into the present moment. Just keep returning with gentleness and with love. And after a while, that sense of stability starts to grow. The sense of mind stability starts to grow. And from that stability, we can begin opening into deeper practices and deeper awareness. So thank you for listening, and blessings.